Hi, English 1301. First of all, forgive my informal dress. Today is clean the house day. So I'm in my t-shirt and shorts. I wanted to talk to you about your first writing assignment. Your first writing assignment is to write one paragraph on how to buy a car. I started having a theme for my English 1301 classes of the research and writing of everyday life when I discovered that so many of my students had no guidance on this kind of thing. Now, many of them do, but just as many of them do not. And I did not have that kind of guidance when I was growing up. So I don't want you to make the same mistakes that I made simply because I didn't have a lot of guidance. So I'm gonna try to help you out with our paper assignments to be very realistic ones, things that you're gonna encounter in everyday life. So our first one is information about buying a car. And you have a list on eCampus of things to remember about buying a car. And there's a couple of them. I'm not going to pull up eCampus because you can do that for yourself. But there's a couple of them that I want you, well, that jump to my mind immediately that I think is really important to remember. And one is never pay MSRP. MSRP stands for Manufacturer's Suggested Retail Price. That means that's the most you will ever pay for that car. And the dealerships just hope that you will pay that much. Nobody pays that much, okay? Thank gosh for the internet, because now we have a lot of options. We can actually find out what other people have paid for a car. We can find out what the MSRP is. And you wanna offer something less than that MSRP, okay? Offer less than the MSRP. How much less depends on how strategically you can be out there buying a car. They have sales quotas to meet, so it's always best to shop for a car at the end of the month. If they haven't met their sales quota for that month, they're gonna be very motivated to sell you a car, and they may be able to cut you a good price on it. Similarly, at the end of the year, they have sales quotas that they have to meet. And if you buy a car from September through December, you're much more likely to get a good price on it because they're trying to meet those end of year sales quotas. Try to avoid buying, like it's September right now, okay? Let's say it's September right now. Don't buy don't buy a car for the next year. Buy this year's cars. Those are the ones that they're trying to get rid of. Those are the ones that they're trying to get off the lot so they can get in next year's cars already. They come in early. So play off those strategies a little bit. And speaking of play off, another good strategy is to, we're not born negotiators. We just didn't grow up in that kind of a culture here in America. So we're not very good at it. But my suggestion is you don't have to be good at it. What you have to do is to play one dealership off another. For example, if you decide that you really want that Honda Civic, go to one dealership and say, I'll offer you this much for this car. And if they say, no, we'll sell it to you for this, then go to another dealership and say, they offered to sell this car to me for this amount, can you beat it? And the other Honda dealership, then it's on them to get you the best price, to beat the price from the other dealership. And when that second dealership gives you a price that's better than the first dealership, go back to the first dealership and say, hey, this other dealership said they would give it to me for XYZ. Can you beat that? So let them do the negotiating, You're just trying to get the best price you possibly can. So play the dealerships off each other. That's worked well for me in the past. Another piece of advice that I have, if you're going to get a used car, I know that the used cars off the street are cheaper than they are off a dealer's lot, but you don't know what kind of problems you're going to be purchasing. So I always think it's safer to go to CarMax, buy a used car off the regular dealership lot. Do something like that where you have some consumer protections, because when you buy one off the street, you have zero consumer protections. You don't know what you're buying. You don't know what they did to that car. But if you go to a reputable dealership, one of the big ones, then they are obligated to have a certain degree of guarantees and professionalism and everything else. So it's kind of worth it to pay a little bit more to know what you're getting and to know what kind of guarantee is going to come with it, right? Okay, so we're going to learn about how to buy a car, and then we're going to write about what would be a realistic car for you to buy. Okay, it did not say what's your dream car. It said what's a realistic car that you would buy when you graduate and start your first real job. Buying a car is like buying a house. You don't buy a mansion the minute you graduate, trust me. You know, you start small and you work your way up the ownership ladder. So you need to think about that with cars too. You know, let's get real here. You're not going to get a Maserati right when you graduate. I don't know, maybe you will, but that's not reality. For most of us, that's not reality. So let's talk about what's a reasonable car for you to buy. Is it affordable? What's the gas like? What's the insurance like? If you are an under 25 year-old male, your insurance is going to be astronomical. You have got to factor that in per month in your car expenses. And you know, that's just a fact. So be sure that you consider those things as well. Maintenance, consider those things. You're going to need to change that oil more often than you think if you want that car to last you forever, and that's always what I've done. I've always gotten a very reliable car, changed the oil 3 or 4 times a year, and made that car last for 10 to 20 years. And I have saved so much money over the long haul doing that. You know, take care of your car because you want it to last. Those idiots out there doing crazy things in the streets, burning rubber, you can bet they're not buying their own tires. Mommy and daddy are buying their tires because if they had to pay for it themselves, they wouldn't be treating their tires that way. My opinion. Okay, anyway. On eCampus, under writing assignments, you have a number of lessons. One is about topic sentences. When you talk about writing a body paragraph, the topic sentence is the most important sentence in a body paragraph. It is arguable. It is a complete sentence. It says what your paragraph is going to argue. For example, in this assignment, your topic sentence should probably say, the most realistic car for me to buy when I graduate will be a whatever because blah, 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 blah. Because it's most affordable, because it's most reliable, because it is, I don't know, whatever you like about it. And then go down in that paragraph and talk about its affordability, its reliability, and whatever else compels you to buy that car. How easy is it to repair? What's the warranty like? You know, Volkswagens, for example, can be popular cars, but they have the worst warranty in the car industry. So you may not want to get into that. You know, keep those things in mind as well. Be practical. Okay, so it tells you about topic sentences. Very important. That's worth like 20 points of your paper, so don't screw that up. Development. Students always ask me, how many sentences do I need to write for this? Okay, first of all, we don't count sentences at the college level. Generally, a well-developed paragraph at the college level is about a page long, double-spaced, of course. If you don't know how to format your papers, you better look it up because, again, it's worth about 20 points. And the link is on eCampus under writing assignments. How do I format this paper? So it's about a page long, double-spaced. And inevitably, there's a student that says, wait a minute, I thought a paragraph was like 6 sentences. Yeah. 6 sentences is in the 3rd grade curriculum in the Carrollton Farmers Branch School District. 3rd grade. You're going to have to do a whole hell of a lot better than that, right? So keep that in mind. Don't forget to use transitions where it can smooth out your argument and try to conclude soundly. The sources that you're allowed to use are on the top of the paper assignment itself. You cannot just go out Googling everything under the sun. You know, Google is great. I Google a lot of things, but not for college papers. For college papers, I use reliable websites, and those websites are listed at the top of your assignment page. So be sure to look at that. Also, very, very important. At the bottom of your assignment, if you scroll down far enough, the 2nd page shows you how to cite a website, which is basically what you'll be using. And the last page is a suggested outline for this body paragraph. use it, okay? It's just an outline, it's not the whole body paragraph, but if you stick to the suggested outline, you are much more likely to do well, okay? Check your syllabus for when the paragraph is due. You know that you're allowed to work at your own pace, but you know, don't put things off because it's too easy to fall behind, and then it is almost impossible to catch up. So I'm not going to be looking at the clock. I'm not going to be, you know, counting you off if you're late, but don't be too late because we're going to move on to the next paper assignment very quickly. Okay, I hope that helps. If you have a question, ask on the discussion board, ask in your study group, ask a tutor, ask me, ask whatever. You know, you have lots of resources in place to help you. Okay, one paragraph, how to buy a car, what car would you buy? What's the most reasonable car that you would buy? Most realistic car for when you first graduate. Okay, I'll see you on eCampus.